Yeah, I think it was big acquisition. I mean, definitely.
I believe it. They're huge. They're in literally every store from Walmart to Whole Foods.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They're doing well. So, what are you drinking?
I got this manual espresso machine, so I make my own espresso, dude. That was a bad shot, but it's usually got this beautiful cream on top. It's so
Oh,
good, man.
nice.
I'm getting really into it.
Nice. All right, cool. Let's get it rolling. So, guys, today we have just go like on Instagram as well. Today we have. I mean, we're like friends now. We're like friends, and like I mean,
Sweet.
yeah, and you've been so helpful with like biohacking and stuff, which we'll talk in a second. But yeah, Luke Voigt, he's you have like a German last name, I think.
Yeah, yeah, we're German ancestors.
Yeah, and so Luke has a brand, e-commerce brand, Nootropics brand. We'll cover that in a few minutes, and he went from doing 30K a month, losing money, and now he is doing 200. You said 250, 280 this month.
Yeah,
Uh,
last 2 months over 250. This month somewhere between 250 and 300.
nice. So let me do like
Looks
Instagram
like
as well.
we got someone who knows me from the old days, from Trey Cochran's group,
Oh,
Sir.
nice.
Not sure if that's your full name, but yeah, we can definitely touch on how I transitioned from agency stuff to ecom.
Nice. Yeah, guys. So here we are live on YouTube. I think YouTube and Facebook group as well. And I'm here with Luke Voigt. He's our client in ESS program, and he scaled his business from 30K a month to 250K a month. And so yeah, we'll be just talking here. You can see. I know it's a bit tricky. We're still trying to figure out like some scalable solution for lives, so we can go like simultaneous on Instagram as well. We haven't figured it out. So what I'll do is I'll just put my phone somewhere like I think in here, so you can you can watch it. And yeah, we'll share the product and stuff like that. So if you keep watching, we'll share pretty much what's working for Luke, for his brand. It's a nootropics brand in a health space, like supplement, and amazing product actually, because I'm using it myself. I just ordered like nine bottles. I mean, you have those good
Yeah,
upsells. I
got those
ordered like
deals going on.
yeah. I ordered like 9 bottles of your product, which is I'm very excited about, and taking
That's
this like
great, man.
pretty much daily, and yeah, daily, like 2 times a day,
For months
and
now, huh? It's been about
yeah.
four or so months.
Yeah, man, and I really feel the difference. I feel the difference. Like I'm thinking clearly. I'm more patient. I don't know if the thing that impact, but I
Yeah, there's
definitely.
mood boosts.
Yeah. So that's definitely I feel the effects, and I'll keep using it for a long time. So yeah,
Awesome, man.
I'll put my phone here. It's kind of like a bit. Let me see. Let me get it like another folder here.
Yeah, take your time.
Um, yeah, I need to get more professional with all of this, right? Like kind of the studio and stuff.
Hey,
Um,
Alex Hormozzi's videos were pretty rugged for the first 100 or so, and then
yeah.
he stepped it up way later.
Uh huh. Yeah. All right. All right. So yeah, we are here, and you guys are here, and we are here, and we'll be talking. So yeah, we'll be talking. Tactics, right? Like how to go from you know people watching from zero to hero, like initial kind of different stages of growth, right?
Yep.
And different challenges that then how you overcame them. And there's a lot of golden nuggets that um, you have you've shared with me, and like that are amazing. So yeah, let's kind of like start it. Let's kind of start from the from the start, like how you got into business, how you got into e-commerce in the first place? You have some crazy stories, so yeah, if you can share that.
Yeah, we'll try and make a decade-long story crunched as small as we can. But yeah, we'll start from the agency days. We got Sir in the comments who knows me from the agency days. So I used to run a small Facebook ad agency. At any given time, we'd have about 10 to 15 clients on roster. I had trouble delivering, but I was really good on the ad side, on the funnel side. So I was a funnel guy, a sales guy, a copywriter, and I was building up those skill sets in the agency. But I just really didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy who I was working with. I was working with construction companies. The average owner that I would work with was a 65, 70-year-old old dude, which is like great. Like, that's how I got started, was working with my dad, who's in that category. But those weren't really the guys I wanted to be spending my time with on a daily basis, conversing with. So ultimately, I didn't have the enthusiasm to take it to the next level. So when we reached some major bottlenecks, I started wanting to shift out of it. And funny enough, the current company, which is lionsmaneextracts.com, that's the nootropic that we sell. It's a pure form of lion's mane extracts. Helps with focus, helps with memory. How I got into that was actually kind of by mistake. So my mom had a birthday coming up and I didn't know what to get her. So she's big into cooking. So I got her a mushroom grow kit from Amazon, right? And I got her oyster mushrooms, like a little, put on the counter, spray it with water, and then it does oyster mushrooms for cooking. And at that time, I had been taking lion's mane for about 5 years consistently, not my own, but just different supplements. And I was always trying different supplements like capsules, liquid extracts, coffee, lion's mane coffee, things like that. And the only one that actually worked for me was a dual extracted capsule, but it was so low dose that I had to take 15 capsules a day just to feel it. And at that rate, I mean, just that alone was costing about $500-$600 a month just to take that many capsules of the product. Wow. And I really liked the effects, but it really wasn't doing it for me. So tying in that birthday gift I got from my mom, what happened was when I bought her the oyster grow kit, I bought myself a lion's mane grow kit. So I started growing the lion's mane just for fun. And in the back of my mind, I was like, hey, maybe I can make some extracts out of here and make my own just as a little hobby. And what was kind of funny was the reason why I got into that was I had that unsatisfaction over here in the agency. And I was looking for hobbies to start boosting my mood. So I was looking for something to distract myself. And later it ended up turning into a business. So as soon as I harvested the first round of lion's mane mushrooms, turned it into an extract, started taking it, getting great effects. And then I just got the bug. I started scaling up the equipment. I think the first round I put about, let's say $2,500 into equipment. I got a pressure cooker. I got a grow tent that I put in my old apartment. And I went from growing one on the shelf to now growing about 9, 10 at once. And I started perfecting the methods of growing. I did that for about 3 to 4 months. And that's when I started distributing the extracts that I was making off those mushrooms to my friends and family. And then around that time, I decided to get a label made. And I took all those Facebook and funnel ad skills and email marketing and all those skills that I learned in the agency. And I launched a Facebook campaign. And beginner's luck had it where we sold about 100 bottles in the first week or so.
Nice.
Had an amazing ROAS, then Facebook banned us. It took a while to get back on. So I had that initial excitement. It was that peak state emotion. But then it came hurtling down real quick from the Facebook ban. But that didn't deter me. I've been on Facebook for 10 years. I know that we get bans. We work with it. So for me, that was enough. I took everything I had in my savings, started scaling up. My parents were
how much was that?
Not much at all. I've been making great money since I've been making great money since I was 21, but I've been a spender, man. I've been spending. So all my savings at the time was about 10, 15 grand. So yeah, I took all that, and basically my parents let me convert one of their rooms in their home into a mushroom grow lab. So I had the entire one room. It was blocked off and sealed, and I created a humidity chamber in there. So the room had to be pumping at 92% humidity to grow these mushrooms. And then when I needed a second room, they gave me a second room So I had an entire sterile lab in the one room, and then I had the mushroom grow tent in the other. So I was doing that, basically recruited some of my old buddies, like high school buddies, to help me pack and ship. At one point I was packing so many labels that my fingers would start bleeding. So basically at the time, what was happening was I was still running my agency I had about 3 to 5 clients left.
Mm-hmm.
I would go grow, so I'd wake up 5 a.m., work on the agency for a couple hours, go over to my parents' house, grow the mushrooms. In the evening, I would shuttle over to my buddy's place and we'd start packing. So we were doing that for quite some time before I ended up getting enough capital, thanks to Shopify and Stripe loans. I still wasn't making any fucking money, but Stripe and Shopify saw all the money coming in. So in terms of revenues, and so they were offering us little micro loans, let's say 8K here, 20K there. So when I finally got enough revenues to start working with some other people, that's when I started expanding and working with more established suppliers. We started out with one about an hour down the road here from us in Texas. So I'm in Dallas, if anyone's watching knows Texas. So we went from Dallas to Arlington, just down the road. I found a guy who's already making tinctures, and I started paying him. So he would make the product, I'd slap my label on it, and I trusted him. He was good. I outgrew him pretty quick. I was only with him about 3-4 months before we capped out his facility and we had to move to another one. So now we're in Portland. These guys have a really established facility. This guy's a master extractor. He's been doing it for over a decade personally. And he's like one of the OGs in the mushroom grow space. Like he has articles written in the Mushroom Grow Bible that everyone buys when they get into mushroom growing and things like that. So he's a true master, and we've got a really good relationship. And now that's where we source all of our products. So
nice.
Yeah, that's the business formation side. We can definitely talk about the revenues, and I want to get to the impact your content made on our journey of becoming profitable for the first time.
Yeah, my man, it's incredible. So okay, 10-15 G is like initial capital. Obviously, your time, as a founder to get that brand off the ground. But I think it's the fact that kind of like what was that you said? So one of the reasons you started this was the frustration with an agency, right? Mm-hmm. And so during that time, the agency was kind of like still funding. You were still getting some money from the agency to fund your life and everything.
About 10-15 grand a month. Yeah. Which, like I said, I'm a spender. I need about 10 just to cover how expensive our supplements are, and our sleep gadgets. Biohacker lifestyle's a little bit expensive. I was burning pretty much everything I was making at the time.
Man, that's crazy. And then then I remember we had a conversation. You said you've been losing money in that business for like quite some time.
Yeah. So all along the way, from myself growing it to our first expansion to the second expansion that we're now at, we were losing money the whole time. We had our first profitable month roughly 6 months ago now. So we're just under 3 years old now. So let's just say for 2 solid years, I was losing money. And for the first year, it was pretty chill because I was just growing it myself. I didn't have a lot of overhead. I was paying my buddy like $10 an hour. We were just scrappy, and I was losing, let's say, 1 to 2K a month. I was just kind of pouring back in. After about a year, I started ramping things up when I was getting loans from Stripe and Shopify. And at the peak, we were losing about 25 grand a month, which the payback cycles were long. So I wasn't keeping track. I just had the vision of the company, and I just knew like we were going to do good things. And I knew once we started getting really good referrals, that's when I knew, and reviews, that's when I knew like we were onto something. And if I just push through and keep making new funnels, keep making new ads, eventually we'll crack profitability. So I was just burning money testing. I just wanted to buy data. So at the peak of it, I was in about $150,000 debt to both combined to Stripe and Shopify. It was about 70K to each. And that was the lowest of the low. That was probably about a year ago at this point. I remember like last Black Friday, everyone was like, push your ads hard, like have a record breaking Black Friday. And I was like, I'm in like 150K debt. I got to turn my ads off. So I actually turned my ads off last Black Friday.
My man, shit, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And that like, so, but what kept you like during that period of time? I mean, most people, you know, they don't have this kind of like resiliency, right, to kind of like push things through for an extended period of time.
Sure.
You know, and they were like, you know, let's move to something else. You know, people kind of like get discouraged like very fast. So what do you think was that for you, like that kept you moving during those years?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, you know, I just turned 30. I got into the entrepreneurship game at 14, like selling protein bars out of my school locker to my wrestling buddies and things like that. For my personal reason, I think I just had so many fucking failures from like age 14 up until like age 26, 27. At the time when I started this company, you know, me and my girlfriend who were living together, we just broke up. I just had a fire in my belly like nothing before. You know, I was looking at all these failures, and you know, when you keep failing at something, you got to look, the common denominator is you, right? It's not the business opportunity. Like I knew I had all these opportunities that I had fumbled. And, you know, I was looking back and I was like, well, why did I fumble all of these? Was the opportunity bad? Like what was going on? Was I not working hard enough? And the common answer I got in my journaling process was I just quit too early. Like that was it. I like every single thing, like agency, all the other little gigs that I started, it was just I quit too early. So yeah, something about that breakup really fueled me up. You know, I know people can relate to that. You know, I just had that fire in the belly, and I just didn't want to fail again. So I think when the tough times came in, I was just like the classic plan, don't have a plan B because it distracts you from plan A. I think this company too, for me, was the perfect intersection between my passions and my skill sets. So I've been into biohacking for over a decade now. I've been a bodybuilder. I've done biohacking coaching, weight loss coaching, you know, so I'm really into health and helping people with their health. And then I love business, right? I love marketing. I love making funnels. I love everything about it. And they just met here in the perfect intersection. And I think on those days when I was thinking about giving up, you know, we lost a lot of money or things like that, I'm like, honestly, it's not going to get better. It's like, as far as opportunities go, it's probably not going to get better, at least with my current resources, my current skill sets, and where I'm at in life. It's like, there's nothing else to hop to that's going to be a better passion alignment as well as business opportunity alignment, because mushrooms are hot. So yeah, those are some of the things that kept me going. And of course, my family, man, like if I didn't have parents who let me use one of their rooms to build a mushroom grow lab, I still would have done it, but it would have been a lot harder. And of course, like the support from my friends as well, man, like they all chipped in, helped me pack, helped me do all sorts of stuff.
Nice. Yeah.
Man.
All right. And so like about 6 months ago, like you said, you had that shift in your business where you became profitable finally after those years.
Yeah. At every jump, what's cool, I was looking at, you know, our charts in Shopify from start till now, and every single jump in revenues, I could see it was clearly due to a new mentor or a new piece of information that I came across and I acted on. You know, I had a mentor who took me from 0 to 30, right? I met a new mentor that took me kind of like from 30 to 50. And I had just finished that mentorship with the 30 to 50 mentor. And that's around the time when I was seeing your YouTube videos. I had a couple buddies who were not in your world, but they watched your stuff and they kept sending me your videos. And one of them I saw was talking about the advertorial strategy. And it was a screen share you were doing where you were just talking about this advertorial for some Wi-Fi booster. You know, the product isn't significant here. It was just, I learned the advertorial strategy watching your free video, and I took some instant action on it. I just could tell it was a good idea. So I replicated it the best I could, literally just the structure. There were no words I could copy from a Wi-Fi booster to lion's mane, but I just copied the structure of it. And then we had our first profitable week on Facebook that week when I launched it, literally in 2 years at that point. So like we were not profitable on Facebook for 2 years. And then I launched it, and then boom, we had a little bit of, just a little bit, I was like, oh, okay, we had our first green week ever. Let's do more of that. So I started split testing aggressively, just diving headfirst into the advertorial strategies, looking at the way you guys run ads. And I think I actually took the first profit I took, and that's what I used to join ESS.
Oh, wow.
So like that was, I had just made my first like 10K profit or whatever you guys charge me. I forget, it was about 6 months ago now. But yeah, I just took it and I paid you guys because I was like, if I got this on free, well, it's behind the paywall, right? Which is the perfect info marketing funnel for you guys. It worked. And then, of course, we went from 100 to 150 to 200. And then the last 2 months were over 250. And this month we're looking at somewhere between 250 and 300. And yeah, that was basically, that was what was behind the paywall. So free got me to 100, and then behind the paywall, 100 to 300. So yeah, that's what made the difference.
Man, that's awesome. And one of the things that differentiates you, from other people is like how many people. I mean, that, for example, one of the advertorial videos has like 60,000 views. Like, okay, so 60,000 people have watched it, right? Or let's say maybe some people watched it twice, right? Like, let's say 30,000. Let's say just on average. Like, how many of those people actually have taken action? How many of those people? So I guess the difference maker was that you actually went and you took action on the piece of information that could have, obviously, could have not worked for you, right? Like, or could have. But I think being open-minded to different like ideas is super important, because oftentimes we're like, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. I know like all the answers, right? Or especially for experienced people, right? That's one of the biases that experienced people have. Oh, it's like it always worked this way. It's but like, fuck. I mean, marketplace changes. We are in the industry that constantly evolves, right? And we'll go through some of the things that you've done yourself, like in terms of structuring those offers on the website and stuff like that I think would be very beneficial for people. But that also will probably blow some people's minds, like, oh, you can do this. Oh, and you can make it evergreen, like those offers you have on the website, like, and oh, it's like, I think being like open-minded and actually, kind of like willing to like learn. I think you can learn something from anyone, right? I mean, obviously it's best if you kind of like selective of like people that you learn from, if they have a track record. I think that that helps. But like just being open-minded, and if you learn something, don't put it in a long fucking box. Like just apply it. Like find a way to apply that idea. Like shorten the path between you learning something and actually implementing it, and you'll probably be ahead of like most people, because most people just like, how many conferences, like imagine I always like think about like how many 7-figure businesses are there, right? How many 8-figure businesses are there, right? And it's like, I mean, it's small percentage. 4% of businesses ever get to like 7 figures in revenue. 4% of whole businesses, right?
Wow.
Which is not a lot. I mean, 7 figures, like what? Like 1 million a year, 100 G's a month, like very fucking low, right? And so you think about it, like all of that with the abundance of information that is available out there, right? YouTube, right? Podcasts, like free resources that you don't have to even pay like $1, right? And all of the, obviously mentorship opportunities that are there, like different programs and stuff like that. And so I mean, I'm biased towards our program. I think it's one of the best, if not the best, like for this particular kind of industry. But
I agree.
It's kind of like it baffles. For me, it's insane that like so small percent of businesses ever get to 7 figures. It's like, fuck, why? Like, it's crazy to think about it, that with all of these opportunities, people still don't take advantage of it.
I can tell you why, at least on my side, why it took me so long to do it. I think there's a quote that gets passed around in the entrepreneurial space, which is from 0 to 1,000,000, you are the problem. You've got a personal problem, not a business problem. And I heard that quote my whole life in entrepreneurship, and I didn't really get to fully grasp that understanding until I went from 0 to 1,000,000. And it's funny, like we're past 1,000,000, like we're going to be close to 2,000,000 this year, but I'm still the biggest problem. And I wonder where that stops. Like, I wonder when you actually get business problems, because I certainly am not there yet. It's literally just me in the way. Like what I'm willing to do, my mindset, my energy, my decision-making skills, how I prioritize certain growth opportunities versus how you would come into my business. A lot of times, dude, we've all had those moments when we go in the shower and we're just like, fuck, like the thought that runs through my head is, man, like if somebody else was running my company, they would be blowing it up. And that's just the self-acknowledgement, the ownership, like realizing that I'm the one in the way of the growth. I know somebody more evolved than me would be blowing this up a lot quicker. And then you got to have peace with where you're at and stuff. We can go hippie with it and all that. But I think, you're the biggest problem if you're not at 1,000,000 yet.
Wow, you don't have, you say you don't have a business problem yet, right? Like it's fascinating, right? Because on the other hand, like what people are looking for is the tactics, right? People looking for tactical. Okay, what kind of team I should use for my Shopify store, right? Like what kind of so they're looking for those kind of things, which are important. Like there's no question about it, right? But the amount of time spent on kind of like trying to, as you said, what is your even like thinking process, right? How do you even prioritize things correctly? How do you make sure that you don't spend 80% of your day focusing on the wrong thing, right? And I mean, I guess like the probably the fastest way to get there is through, I do believe the fastest way to get there is through mentorship. Like there is, you can probably get there by trial and error, like by doing many things as it was for you. Like for years you've tried like things that probably that didn't work out because probably there were like wrong things to focus on in the first place. And but like, I think probably you need to get someone who will like show you the way, who will advise you, who will like look at your situation, will tell you, okay, so here's what you have to do, and then you have to actually fucking do it and actually execute it, right? And come back for the next round, and then for the next round, right? And like go in these rounds of of kind of like iterations and rounds of improvement. I think probably the best way. Like think about like the Ken Griffin, Citadel, like the hedge fund. Citadel hedge fund is like one of the most successful. I mean, I have a guy. He's lives in my building. His wife is one of the like top executives in that company. Yeah. So, and our kids play together. And so, and I'm like, I'm looking at the biography of Ken, right? Like Ken Griffin, and like Griffith or Griffin, like, and he's like, yeah, in 1990 or something, right? He travels across the fucking country to find to his mentor, right? To the guy who's like kind of like, he found the guy who's like who was good at head of hedge fund, I think, at that point. And he's like, gets close to the guy, right? Like learns everything he can, and then I think the guy gave him like a some capital to play with, and that was the fucking start of Citadel that right now made him worth $32 fucking billion. Right now, is guy stupid? Fucking no, right? Could he have like figured it out by himself? Probably, right? And probably like, I mean, over time, like he would have figured out. He's a smart guy. He probably has like super high IQ and like fast learner, but just like expediting that process. Like you buying something on fucking Amazon, like you want it like in like 5 days, or you want it like tomorrow, right? Like if you had the option, right? Like pay for expedited fucking shipping,
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's a good metaphor.
And Yeah, I think it's just one of those things, and it's fascinating, and that most people, they would prioritize like buying fucking bag, right? Buying a
Sure.
fucking, buying a car, right? Especially
And
young.
I've done that. I've
Yeah,
done that. Like
and
I
I've
said,
done that, and I've done that,
spending was my
and it's,
problem.
yeah. And I remember I was like 22 years old. I bought the camera that cost like $7,000. Like,
Yeah.
why the fuck you need a camera? you know, but I think the exposure to even like, okay, I think in many cases, it's like, it's parents' job to explain to kids that, this is the key. This is the way to learn certain things fast, is through mentors, right? And through people that kind of
Hmm.
like can show you the way. And then obviously society is like, kind of the schools give you the perception like you go to the school, and then pretty much you graduate, it's like you're good, right? Like you have a diploma,
Yeah.
right? You go work. And so,
Hmm.
but life is a learning experience from start to finish, since the moment you're born, like to the moment you die. It's a
Yeah.
learning experience. And what you have to identify is like, what is the next kind of like stage for you, and how you
Hmm.
get there the fastest. I think that's just logical, but doesn't seem like so many people take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think you're tapping into, like when we talk about business bottlenecks, we'll identify those. But if we talk about that phenomenon of if you're not at a million yet, you're the biggest problem. Well, what's one of the personal bottlenecks that gets in the way? I think we could call it old man syndrome, which is essentially what happens to an older man. The more he's lived, the more experience he's got. His mind gets closed, 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 closed. He stops asking questions. He stops yielding to a greater man when a man has more information, and he's just very closed off. Like he's figured out what works for him, and he just shuts out everything else.
Mm,
One of the things that I admire about you is you're always learning. I can tell, like when you're coaching everybody on the weekly calls, like you're talking to a guy who's doing 20K a month, just like you would talk to a guy who's doing 2 million a month. You might
mm,
be slightly more excited with the 2 mil a month guy,
yeah.
but I see that same humility in you when you're talking to somebody making less, and you can tell your mind is still wide open. And I think that's why I gravitated to you as a coach, because I watched all your interviews with everybody. I saw that humility in you. And I think for me, that was one of the major bottlenecks. Even being a young man, I was struggling from the old man syndrome when I wasn't earning what I wanted to earn. And by that, I mean, I think a lot of young guys get into coach mode a little too early,
Mm,
meaning if you're agency owner, like you got 3 to 5 to 10 to 15 clients, like I don't consider that an agency anymore. Like if you got 50, yeah, we're in that territory. But if you're like a faux agency owner, and I don't mean any disrespect by that. I just mean a lot of times you're in that coaching authority role with your clients on a daily basis, and you
mhm.
might do some consulting gigs on the side where you're getting paid a couple $100 an hour. A lot of guys are making their first money doing that. That's what I was doing. And I think you get into this authority mode a little too soon in life. Like if you start
Mm,
being Mr. Coach at 22 years old, you're kind of cementing yourself in as I know my shit and I'm going to ignore people, because you're going into that coach mode too early. And one of my early mentors warned me about that. Elliot Holz was my first mentor outside of my father. And Elliot taught me that because I told him I wanted to be a biohacking coach. And he was like, we were on the phone. He was like, what are your credentials? I was like, don't have any. He was like, what's your experience? I was like, well, I'm shredded. And he's like, what? He's like, what? Like, how are you going to guide somebody? And I'm like, it was a really humbling call. And at the time, I was making some decent money being a weight loss coach, and I had a little bit of a rap sheet, but he was like humbled me real quick. Like I wasn't a legit coach. So I think coaching too early and being Mr. Influencer or Mrs. Influencer, things like that, if you go in too early in life, you can stunt your growth, kind of like lifting heavy weights at a too young age where the bones stop growing. I think
mm.
you don't want to get into old man syndrome too soon.
Such a good point, Omen. All right, so you've learned advertorials. So you watch YouTube videos, like you took action. So what happened with your business?
Yeah, so like I said, when we launched our first advertorial, we had our first profitable week on Facebook. That blew us up. Now, if I stopped there, it wouldn't have gone well. I had to continue split testing, making new advertorials. Thankfully, I had the marketing experience to know how important that was. So I kept testing, tens, hundreds, probably maybe just under 100 variations at this point since we first got started. But yeah, continual testing, optimizing, taking that conversion rate from 0.5% to now up to 2.5%. We're still trying to climb, making sure we're split testing on the back end too. Like a lot of people just have their product and they don't have complementary upsells and they don't have cross sells. So I think around the time when I got into your stuff, I added 2 more SKUs. Now we have a total of 5 SKUs. So it's not just one of my other mentors tells me until you have 5 SKUs, you don't have a business.
Wow.
And I resisted that learning for quite a while, but now I see what he means. Like you really can't scale too hard or rather you can't be extremely efficient with your marketing until you have multiple SKUs to cross sell, email follow-ups. Like, maybe they've already bought 6 of your main SKU. What do you do now if you don't have any other SKUs? So expanding the product line, that's going to be something we're going to be putting more and more coming through. What else made the difference? Stepping up the ads. That's something. So I was talking to Serhi just about an hour here before you, and Serhi just tore into my stuff. Basically, I left realizing like my ads suck, my advertorials suck, and he was kind about it. He didn't say those words to me, but he humbled me real quick, and I think that humbling process for me at least is very important. Realizing like I got to keep stepping up my work, making it better and better and better. So every time I launch ads, I try to make it at least a couple % better than the last. So everything, if you look at, what I was launching day 1 versus 2 years later, it's 2,000% better because I just keep making it better and better. So that's very important. I think a lot of people just launch the same of the same, or they're just like churning out quantity because they heard they got to hit 50 creatives a week or something like that. But you got to make the quality go up as well as the quantity. And that's been a big factor for us as well.
Nice. So, so you've done, so 30, then it was 100, right? And now it's 250K a month.
Yeah. So going from 30 to 100, that was introducing advertorials at your recommendation. Going from 100 to let's say 150 to 200 was dialing in SMS and email. I had a bit of email. I had a welcome sequence on email. And I very rarely sent out emails. So I added in SMS. That gave us a huge bump. It pretty much matched our email performance.
Wow.
And so
SMS just huge. Make sure SMS almost matching your email performance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
How often do you send like campaigns on SMS?
Yeah. Every time we send an email, I send a text. So I just do it very consistently.
3 times a week.
Yeah, 2 to 3 times a week at this point. If we look at the last 60 days or so, 2 to 3 to maybe 4 times a week, I'd say lately.
Nice. Basically replicate. Let's say you have like a buy one, get one free, whatever. Just an example. On email, you would do the same offer for SMS.
100%. Yeah, much shorter message. And my reasoning behind that is we want to show up. Like people have such bombarded email inboxes today. We want to show up on the phone too. Right. So, and I think that's especially important for our demo, which skews older. Like our average is 45 plus. And a lot of them are still checking their emails on their desktop. Right. They're still like logging in and because they don't like looking at the tiny screen. So now we're hitting them on the desktop with the email and then they get the ping on the phone. So I think it's really important to show up on all the devices. And, we're working on next project is going to be getting more in their Facebook Messenger inbox, doing some like messenger ads, trying to show up, just every channel we have to reach them. I started doing some direct mail too, although we haven't cracked that code yet. Our first campaign was not a huge success, but I think that's a great place to grow as well. Now we're showing up in their physical mailbox as well. So I think that's going to be pretty hot when we crack it.
Awesome. So what were the major like changes you would say that took you from 0.5% conversion rate to like 2 to 2.5% conversion rate?
Yeah, this is a good one. So understanding I think everyone, I believe it's in the book Breakthrough Advertising, where they describe the 5 stages of marketing, right? Unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, most aware. I don't know if I said 4 or 5 there, but I think knowing where your audience is very important. Like knowing where your audience is as a whole and crafting your marketing message to that specific stage of awareness. And then also realizing in every market, you're going to have people, prospects in different stages of the market awareness already. So let's just say, for my example, people as a whole in the market are solution aware, like they've heard of mushrooms for cognitive performance. A lot of them are product aware. So I chose to hit the product aware first. Whereas if you are introducing some new type of blend of something that nobody's ever seen before, you can't necessarily just show up and be like, we've got the best thingamajig, because they don't even know the thingamajigs exist. So I didn't choose this by design, but it just so happens that our product is very aware, our market's very aware of our product. So I just show up and I say, hey, you're trying to look for lion's mane extracts, check out ours. Ours is the best. Here's why. It's a very low-hanging fruit way to do it. It's not the most scalable segment of the market, but it's a great way to get your proof of concept. And let's just define that by being able to pull off $1 million a year in sales. I think if you can't pull off $1 million in sales at that product awareness market, you're probably not going to have a huge potential for scale. Because the way I look at the market expansion is that product aware stage, that lower stage, that number where you cap out with that type of messaging is going to reveal how much more you've got above in the avalanche, going from the problem aware, solution aware down in. So if I can pull 2 mil, 3 mil just at that product aware stage, that's probably telling me 30, 50 mil if I can expand the messaging. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100. I mean, for me, it makes sense. I want to make sure, everyone who's listening in, like, understands this concept as well. It's massive. So kind of like, let's do it like an exercise, right? Let's say you sell, right? Visual, no visuals. Okay. Let's say you sell like a lion's mane product, right? So the levels of kind of like awareness would be like the people here on the bottom. These are the most aware, right? Let's say they have, they know what lion manes is, right? What it does.
They're aware of your brand.
Yes,
just
they're aware of,
not to interject. They're aware of the brand. They just need to see a deal.
They need to see a deal, right? This is where you get people with Black Friday sales, kind of like the easy wins, right? Email, SMS,
20% off.
Give me the product at a lower price. Give me like a good offer, a good deal, right? And I'm getting it, right? The problem with this segment is that like it's good, it's high conversion rate. You'll get like 10%. If that you segmented just those people, it's probably 10-20% conversion rate on the website, but that segment is not that large, right? Now, one step higher than that would be people that don't know about lion's mane's extract, for example, don't know about your brand, right? But they're aware that, okay, they have, let's say, mental clarity issues, and they know that lion's mane is a solution, right? And they know that, and then you do this, let's say, the comparison of the best like brands, or maybe you do kind of like how to choose like one of these things that works for you is like how to choose the right lion's mane's extract, and then obviously yours, because you have so many factors, like it's grown in the United States, it's high quality extract, obviously it's higher price because of that, but you kind of like helping people to make that conclusion that your product is the best, and they're making the purchase. So this is kind of like the second. I'll just simplify it, and then kind of like the higher you go, the less people are aware even that there is a lion mane's extract, or that is a solution to their mental clarity focus problems, right? So the people that would be like a bit higher would be like, they know that there's like mushrooms, maybe, right? And there's like, okay, here's the best mushroom you can use, right? And that best mushroom is lion's mane. And out of those, like all lion's mane's products, this one is the best, right? It's like you would have to do, the higher you go on that awareness level, the more you would have to commit to educating your market. And when we're talking about like advertorials, when we're talking about VSLs, right? This is so crucial, man. I say so good you raise this fucking point, because it is so crucial before you even like write, before you even decide to write like a single fucking word, you have
Mhm.
to understand which kind of market you're going after,
It's
right?
so important. Yeah.
Because like you can go like, oh, it's like this is the best let's say lion's mane, but like maybe that, now your category is decent, right? There's a proof of concept on Amazon and stuff like that, like that has been validated, this, and like you've done some research. But let's say if there is no category, if you're the first one to the market, then like, oh, what this product is, like what it does, right? So you
You
have
better
to.
have funding.
Yeah,
Because you're
exactly.
gonna have to pay to educate those people.
Such a good point. And so I think it kind of like also correlates very well with the concept that people have. Oh, my product is saturated. Oh, my market is saturated. There's no, like, it's too competitive. Oh, it's like, you know, like, no, you're just bad fucking marketer. Like you don't
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
who you're fucking selling to, and like, I don't know what
Yeah,
your
can I? Yeah,
yeah,
I'd love to share an insight that I came into realizing in the game. You cannot escape effort and money into this. What's going to happen is if you choose a stage of the market that's very aware, and you're, let's say, putting out a competitor product,
yeah,
you're going to have to pay to develop the superior product, both in money and time. It might take you a year to create the superior product genuinely. That's what I did, right? Started growing
yeah,
by hand, interviewing countless experts. If we look at Brocado, Oliver Brocado,
yeah,
Tabs chocolate, there were other sex chocolates out there, but he spent the time, developed it, right? He puts out a competitor product. So you're going to pay in development if you go after this market. If you go after the unaware stage of market and you try to bring a new product onto the market, the product doesn't necessarily have to be the best, the most dialed in. What you're going to pay up there is the education to get people aware of the product. And that's what you're paying for up there in both time and money. And we could take an example. Let's just say someone like Mudwater. In my opinion, garbage product. I like what's in it. It just tastes really bad, and that's saying something for me, because I will knock back almost anything as a biohacker. I don't mean to bash anyone's company. I just think it's not very good tasting. So let's just say they're falling into that top category, where if you look at the genesis of their company, I would imagine they dumped hundreds of thousands into their branding, into their advertising. So
yeah,
they're a pioneer, like they're this new type of product up there, and they have to spend all the
yeah,
time educating why people would want a coffee replacement with
yeah,
lion's mane, cordyceps, ashwagandha, some of these more natural ingredients. Whereas if you pop out something that's just like the others, everyone's going to be aware of it. Let's say you come out with a new lipstick.
yeah,
Well, now you have to spend all the money and time in developing the superior product. And when marketing comes around, it's actually a little bit easier, because all you got to do is, here's our amazing thing we spent all this time working on. Here's why it's better, which is what I do. So the marketing is actually easy for our stuff. So you either you choose your hard. You're not going to escape hard.
yeah.
Hopefully that landed.
Yeah, and also sometimes I think the good point, and something that we have missed is, we've talked about the solution aware, right? But we haven't touched on problem. Like sometimes people don't even have to have a problem, right? And you have to educate them. Like, for example, it's like um you know like, let's say you say, do you feel sometimes you have like a, you know do you wake up at night, right? And it's like,
Tingles in your toes.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, 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 right.
wait, do I?
Oh,
Maybe I do.
yeah. Oh, it's like, oh, and then you educate throughout the process. Like you're waking up at night, you have like this issue and this issue, because you have, I don't know, like your brain is fogged, like, or
Yeah.
like, and then, oh, my brain, oh, you have this like special condition called like brain fogginess, right? And then you'd have to educate. So fortunately, the researchers like found the solution to brain fogginess, and it's actually gross. Like,
Classic VSLR,
yeah,
right? Like they
right,
come in, like
yeah,
agitate the problem, solution, product introduction,
yeah,
close the
yeah,
gap. Yeah.
yeah. And it's man, I think that whole kind of like for people that are, it's so important to understand this. Like it goes like above like all of the tactical stuff. It goes above like which button to click on Facebook, which like Advantage Plus or cost
Yes.
bit or something. Like this stuff goes above, because it's like comes down to truly understanding like who you are selling to, right? Behind like every single click that you get, like in your ads dashboard, like whichever platform you're advertising on, Google, Facebook, native, there's a person behind that, either on their phone or on desktop or on tablet, and they have gaps in their life. They have gaps in their life. Sometimes they know about those gaps. That's a problem aware, right? Person. Sometimes they don't even know. So then you have to educate them. But they have gaps. Like all of us have gaps, right? Look, do you want to have like even better sleep? Like,
Of course.
yeah, right. If somebody's
Always.
if somebody's presented to you or me, like, here's a credit card, take my money, right? And so I think as marketers, like we just have to be like obsessed, right? Obsessed about like who's actually buying our products, who pays us money behind that million in revenue or 2 million in revenue you have this year. There is like 10,000, 20,000 customers that are like people that whose problem you have solved, right? And so the more we know about those problems, and the more we kind of like understand how these people think, the better marketers we become, the faster our businesses will grow.
I agree. And we can even take it a layer deeper too. So like at the top, most people just choose a niche, right? They're like industry, right? That's it. I'm going after remodeling contractors, right? We're talking about a layer deeper. Okay, choose your remodeling contractors and now choose which stage of market awareness they're in. Well, there's a level deeper, and that's the energy level of the person, or we could just say the psychology of the person. There's a great book by Frederick Dodson. He's a spiritual guru, but kind of like modern. And he gives you this chart of levels of energy. And on it, he'll chart out like, here's fear, there's anger, there's courage, there's willingness, there's acceptance, there's joy, there's all this stuff.
Wow.
And one of my early marketing mentors, Matt Gallant from BioOptimizers, he taught me how to use this chart to write our copy and to create our funnels based on our segment of market's energy level.
Wow.
He calls it neuromarketing. That's his term. And I kind of look at it as like we're marketing to the energy level. But it's really important not to just keep book dropping, but there's another book called Why No One Understands You and What You Can Do About It by a doctor named Heidi Halverson. And in it, she describes two different modes that people are in. They're either in prevention mode or promotion mode. And what this means is you're either looking for expansion and you're looking for opportunities to grow, or you're looking for how to protect what you've already built. And if you talk to the wrong side of the mind, you'll never get the sale. You'll never build the brand. You'll never make your cash. Really important. I learned that that was in the agency life. I learned how to manipulate that to achieve our agency sales. That was very, in the business making money space, very important to know where people are at. So a lot of my Socratic selling methods, the questions that I would ask people at the beginning of the call would be to uncover which mode they're in, prevention or promotion. But it goes for your eCom ads as well. You want to know, are they trying to, in my case with the elder folks, are they trying to prevent the loss of memories of their grandchildren's and their names of their grandchildren? Or are they trying to increase their energy so they can go on a hike? For the seniors, it's quite obvious. Most of them are in prevention mode. They're trying to not lose things that they care about, right? And if I'm talking to somebody like you, I know you're big in promotion, talking about that humility and that growth sponge-like mindset. I would pitch something to you. Oh, dude, you're gonna gain $10 million more this year, right? If you up your sleep, you're gonna make better decisions. You're gonna make a lot more money, right? Versus like, oh, you're gonna protect your arteries. Like you might like consciously want that, but it's not really gonna light you up to get you to move.
And it's also like, I think it's also, as you said, super, super, super important, like the age of your prospect, right? The age, like as you said, like younger people, I kind of like know that I'm aging, right? I'm like 30 plus, I'm like Jesus age, like I'm 33. But 33. But like it kind of like doesn't bother me, right? like kind of, yeah, I'm kind of like aging, but like kind of like lost memory in like 40 years, like probably don't give a fuck as much yet, right? But I do care about my performance. How can I make better decisions? How can I be more focused, right? How can I prioritize? How can I resist stress and all of the things that are coming my way? So then, even in spite of all of those things that are coming my way, I still make the best decisions. I still stay focused, right? And so understanding those, right? It's incredibly important for you to be like a good marketer. And so I mean that is the foundation of marketing, right? Like there's a market and you have to put a message in front of them that they resonate with, right? That gets you to make a sale. That's fucking it. That is the definition of I mean, probably simplified, but how do you actually get that intel, right? So it's probably helpful for you that you are at least part of your market, right? You are someone who's looking for high performance. You are who's always looking to be more focused, right? So that part of the market you can speak to very well because you understand yourself and you understand what you're looking for. And so if you have that problem, that desire, then probably thousands of other people or millions of other people have. But how do you do that with about, let's say, older people? Like, where do you find that intelligence? Where do you do that research?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because that's what I wanted to go into after this. So when I started running ads, it was all me, like either like in a tank top. I had like my hot girlfriends, doing ads and stuff, like that's what we were doing. And I thought we were going to go after the younger people because I was marketing to me. It took me a hard slap in the face losing all that money to realize I was talking to the wrong market. The people who were, despite me showing all these young people, we still had old people buying. How did I figure that out? I took advice that I got from day one, which I never followed, which was install surveys. I know you've talked about it inside of ESS a ton. It's like, dude, if you're collecting sales and you don't have surveys on, you are losing so much more money than you could ever imagine. You have to have a post-purchase survey. So what I did at the time, I was using ClickFunnels to take sales. I just installed a 1-question survey. It said something along the lines of, why did you buy our lion's mane extracts? A lot of people come in for different reasons. We're just curious, what made you buy? And I like all caps you, like just make it personal, cheeky marketer over here. And the responses I started getting were, I'm giving it to my 90-year-old mother. She's got dementia. Wow. We haven't heard a word from her in months. Wow. We're trying to connect with her. I got these things like, my husband's so forgetful. I'm worried that, we've got dementia in our family. I'm worried that's happening here at 55. We were hoping he would at least get to 70 before anything like this happened. So I started getting these kind of responses pouring in. And I was like, oh my Lord, it was way more than I thought. This was like 7 out of 10 responses were this type of demographic. And I'm over here flaunting my chest and my girlfriend's hot body and things like that. It's like total mismatch, totally incongruent. So yeah, I totally, got that intel. And then actually yesterday, so I took about 1,000 responses and then I swapped the survey question for something else. I wanted some other intel. But I hadn't run data in a while. So I uploaded my list. We have 19,000 customers now. I uploaded it to a service called @data. @data.com, I believe. And I uploaded it and it gives you age insights as well as gender insights and everything you want to know about. You just upload emails and then it analyzes them. And it's not perfect. Like we got about a 65% match rate. But what I found out yesterday, you'll find this interesting. 33% of our customer base over 65.
Wow.
24% of our customer base is 55 to 65, and 21% of our customer base is 45 to 55. So cumulative, that's over 80% of our customer base, 45 or older. So wow. Yeah. So now it's not just a hunch based off of surveys was a great first step. Yeah. Now we've got the actual analytics on our emails and now we know. So we're really going to start speaking more to the seniors. And, like successful people adapt. That's not originally how I thought it was going to go. When I started the company, I thought I was going to be talking to biohackers and young guys and gals, trying to get fit. But I'm adapting. I'm moving where the money's going. Yeah. And also where God's leading me, right? Like I can serve these
Yeah.
people. They need help. So like, let's not be arrogant or let's not be closed-minded. Like let's be open and let's go serve who needs the help. So that's what I'm going to do. We're starting to shift to talk to those seniors a lot more as of late.
This is fucking gold. This is fucking gold. Like this fucking segment, like this last thing that you said, I mean, everyone watching, just fucking copy it, like listen to it 20 times. Sometimes, if you don't get it from the first time, just like listen to it 20 times, 20 fucking times, 30,000. Like, I mean, as many fucking until you fucking get it, because this is the foundation. This is your Facebook ads in here. This is your fucking tactics and shit, right? If this is the foundation and it's like, and it's not, you're not building on the right foundation, as you said, you can have like the ads, you can have the attractive models, everything you want. It won't fucking convert. It won't help you to scale to the level that you want, because it's simply you're talking to the wrong person, and like you're talking them in a language that is not appealing to them. But it's fascinating that no matter what, right? Like even though, right, it's natural selection, right? Even though like many things have not been on point with your marketing, people were still buying. And I think that is important to understand, that like you want to listen to people that give you money, right? That's why service is important, because like that's someone who just gave you the money, like took the fucking credit card out of their wallet, right? And that's important. Nothing else is important. Like only those people's opinions count that actually give you money.
That's so important. And I would love to interject there, because at the beginning, when you don't have a whole lot of sales coming through, you're looking at comments as feedback. You might be asking your friends and family what they think. You might be like getting like, dude, I got a lot of nasty comments, man. At the beginning, we still do today. I just don't check anymore because there's way too many to see. But yeah, like if I would have listened to them, I would have gave up.
Wow.
Or I would have changed things. So another thing too, along that same line, like listen to the people who pay you. Also on the customer service side, one mistake I see a lot of buddies in the space doing is they make changes to their experience based on a negative customer feedback. And you got to get really good at sorting out. So if a customer complains to you via email, is this a genuine thing that we need to work on? Or is this just angry person and we put them in that box and say, this is just a pissed off human and they're going to do that no matter what. So it's actually kind of hard to sort those out. And you only get better at that, with experience. But one piece of advice I'd give everybody is just really, like when you get an alarming type of email that really causes you to think you got to change something in your funnel or everything, pause, like breathe, like write it out and really analyze, like, is this something I genuinely need to change? Or is this just one unhappy person?
100%, man. And on that point, right? Any company has pissed customers. Any, like fucking Apple, right? You're using Apple, you have Apple headphones. Like, I mean, you paid Apple like thousands of dollars. Like millions of people have paid Apple, thousands of dollars. It's $1 trillion company, right? And it has pissed customers. And it has people that fucking complain no matter fucking what. And it has people that file chargebacks. And it has people that ask for refunds. And it has people that they're not happy no matter what. And so as a business, you have to consider, number one, it's just a matter of numbers. Okay, is it acceptable kind of like within your KPI? Let's say you have like 2% return ratio, 5%, whatever that is. In different kind of like niches, it would be different. Apparel, for example, is always higher because of the sizes.
Supplements are high too, like average like 8% plus.
And so those, just accept that there always will be a percentage of people like that. You can't keep everyone happy. You can't, right? What you want to look for is like, is there like a consistent thread between those? Is this like repeating all over again? And is it coming from people that have actually paid you money, right? If that's actually coming from people that paid you money, right? Your core customer, like, okay, so maybe that's something to take into consideration, add it to the backlog. If it continues to repeat again, take some action on it. But don't be reactive, right? This is important thing, especially if something is working. Let's say you have a website. I made this like mistake once. I had like we had like a store converting at like 3%, and I was like, I'll write on some blog or something. You have to do these like different things. I'm like, I'm calling my team like, hey, like let's change it. Here's like implement everything on this, like, and we implement everything once. Conversion tanked. I think we were doing like conversion. We were doing like 800K in that store. Like went to like 200K. Never recovered.
Per month.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a loss.
Never recovered. We tried to change it back, and then I don't know, we fucked up the pixel or something. But
Yeah.
I lesson learned, and I know many people that have done the same mistake. So
oh yeah,
kind of like being reactive. So the speed of action is good, like is good and bad, right? You have to kind of like balance it out where you're also not too reactive for particular things. And when you're testing things, ideally it's one thing at a time, so that okay, is that the factor, is that a variable that actually worked or didn't work, right? And then okay, even with your ads, right, even with the feedback that you got from Sergey, right? All right, no matter what, even if your ads are not good, even if your ads suck, I mean, it's converting, it's profitable, maybe 50 G's last month in profits, right? Keep doing that. New things, introduce like 10-20% of the budget, introduce. If they beat the control, do more of that, right?
Yeah.
If they don't beat the control, keep doing what you're doing. Maybe you found something that's like unique and like no one has done before, and even if you're at suck, they convert, and that's at the end of the day what matters. So yeah, and I think kind of like being data driven, right? Listening to the feedback, but also applying it yourself and looking at the data and making those like critical decisions, being able to critically think and evaluate the situation. I think that's one of the most important skills, overall, like that entrepreneurs can have.
Yeah, and I like that you bring that up, because it comes back into, you're the problem between 0 and 1,000,000, right? That's one of the things you can work on, is being less reactive, being data driven. I work with a performance coach, like coach/therapist. And one of the things we constantly come back to is, when you see the data, what's your next move? And one of the things that I've improved on, which has helped with the profitability, is when you see a low week or a low day or a low 2 weeks or a low month, my previous response when we were less successful was go change everything. Because fuck it, it's not working. We go change it. So see bad data, change everything. That was the action. So what my coach helped me install was see bad data, cross-reference against good data. So we just added this extra step. So you see bad data, cross-reference good data. What were we doing? And can we do that again? And then you go take action. So if, before it was see bad data, change everything. Now it's see bad data. We added a step, cross-reference good data. What was I doing when it was good? Then we take action. And that's simple. Like he calls it the wedge. You wedge that one thing in between your typical habit. And that's really helped me out as well. Like, so that's caused me to be less reactive. That's one thing you guys can take away.
Wow, man, this is another golden nugget, right? Like, because it's one thing to it's one thing to grow a business, right? It's another thing like not to fuck it up. Like, it's like you can have a good business, right? And like with those kind of reactive decisions, you can easily fuck it up. Like, let's say you wake up in the morning, maybe you didn't have a good night of sleep, right? And then I don't know, something happens with algorithm. It sends you like a shit traffic, and then you kind of like, because you haven't like slept well, right? Your decision making ability is compromised, and you're making some bad decision based on that one little piece of data. Like it's not comprehensive. One day, right? And like we just like we take losses on some days on Facebook,
Of course,
like okay, we fucking broke even or lost today. Fuck it, we'll recoup it like many times over. We acquired.
Or you have a loss of a year like me, right? The whole year you're losing, but if you widen out long enough, you'll be good.
If you're looking at very short time frames to make decisions, it will, it can just get you back like many steps back, right? And you have to like start all over again. And I've done this mistake, and I know many people that have done it. You have done it. Like everyone did it. Like probably all successful entrepreneurs did it. But that's how we learn, and that's how we, over time learn to make better decisions and not to fuck it up.
Yeah, definitely.
My man, thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I would, oh, fuck, my Instagram, my phone died. So on Instagram, guys, thank you so much for watching. I would recommend through watching this like again and again, especially that golden nugget, like in terms of service and actually understanding who you're marketing to. like this is a foundation for everything. Understanding stages of awareness, as Luke shared. Luke is a top fucking G. Like connect with Luke. So that's his Instagram, Luke Max
Yep.
Voigt. It's German. I'm telling you. It's man, like I'm telling you. I did my did you do 23 Health, 23andMe Health, 23andMe stuff?
Yeah. I'm pretty much just French and German all the way, like 93%. You know.
No
split.
shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. How about you? Where's you from?
I'm Eastern European. I'm Hungarian, Ukrainian, Russian. Like I'm Eastern European, Jewish partially, like 1% or something.
Yeah, I got a percent of Ashkenazi Jews.
Ashkenazi, yeah, Ashkenazi. I heard like those are like rich Jews,
Yeah, that's what we got it in the blood, man.
right?
DNA.
Right, with destined to get rich. And yeah, you know, the nations, the kind of the ethnicities like mixed up, you know, it's like, especially it's in Europe, like with all of the wars and stuff, there's so many like ethnicities mixed up, you know, some people, you know, like nations and stuff. So yeah, look, I mean, my man, I want to see you at 1 million a month. We do another interview there, and you'll get there in no time. I love kind of like you evolving as an entrepreneur. I see this evolution. It's fucking tremendous to see, and yeah, looking forward to you know, we can assist you to get there. It would be awesome, and yeah, looking forward to see your next breakthroughs. Thank you so much for joining me, and yeah, a lot of golden nuggets, guys. Like for everyone here, just keep rewatching this. I think there's like these points, they're like so fundamental, and if you don't get it from the first time, just do it again, like watch it again. You know, I've realized about myself, maybe, you know, other people's are also this way, that if you don't get something from first time, just rewatch it. I was like, oh,
I do that.
I didn't, oh fuck, I didn't know this, oh, I didn't notice this part, right? And then like you start connecting the dots, and you know, it's like repetition is important. Yeah. Oh man, thank you so much for joining me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, see you in next videos.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and thank you for you know, taking that decision. You know, investing in ESS, when even though like it was just like initial kind of momentum for you, but yeah. You know, hope it was a good ROI for you as well.
No doubt, dude.
Yeah,
changed my life 100%.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you, guys, and Luke, thank you. I'll see you guys in the next videos.